Herning. Herning is a town in central Denmark. Herning is usually a favorite place for those who want to visit just for Herning. Most of the tourists are usual visitors to Herning Messecenter. Herning tours are usually one day. Messecenter is visited by an average of 1 billion tourists each year. The center is mainly ideal for shopping, malls, exhibitions, conferences. However, in recent years, more cultural and sporting walks are prevalent. The main reason for this is the opening of in 2009 the arena opened an outdoor center with a capacity of 50,000 people. Before coming to Herning, tourists get with all the events and concert programs. At the same time, the Herning Museum covers the stages of silk production from today to the present day. This museum also has historical clothing accessories. There is also a Danish photo museum in the settlement. The museum is very popular among tourists. For art lovers, the Herning Museum of Modern Art, the Carl Herning Pedersen Museum and the Eze Alfreds Museum are some of the most visited museums in the region. Herning also owns 3 magnificent buildings built by Danish architect Jylland. In addition, there are the best golf centers in the settlement. At the same time, it is considered ideal to organize cycling tours in the settlement. Herning was named City of the Year in 1965 and 23 years. History. In the Middle Ages, Herning was a small village known as Herning. Later, until 1668, Herning consists of 9 farms built around the church. However, with the construction of the railway in 1840, the settlement began to develop rapidly. The first steam-operated wool yarn factory was built 1873. The factory completed in 1877 gave a great impetus to the development of the settlement. By 1913, Herning was already Denmark's most important clothing and silk production center. In 1954, the first building of the Herning Messecenter was built. Later, as demand increased, the settlement expanded and continued to develop. Currently, the most visited centers for Herning are Herning Museum of Art opened in 2009. The purpose of the museum is to provide more art, culture and entertainment opportunities within the settlement. The building was built by architect Stephen Hall. The museum has an interesting collection of modern art. Carl Herning Pedersen and Else Alfreds Museums. The museum is considered ideal for those who are interested in art. The building is covered on granite and marble fabrics. There are 4,000 exhibits inside the museum. Blacher Museum. The museum is a home museum of the Danish writer Stensen Blichen. Reflects the writer's creative and life path. Herning Church. The church was built in 1889 in the style of the novel. The church is important not only for Herning but also for tourists. Herning Museum. The building was built in 3 parts. The museum reflects the way of life from the Stone Age and the present day. At the same time, science and exhibits reflecting to the ancient way of life of the Danish people are displayed. Danish Photo Museum. The museum displays science and works related to photography. Antique cameras, camera parts and ancient paintings are on display. Herning Messecenter. The first building was built in 1954. The center hosts exhibitions and business presentations every year. 1 million people visit the center every year. Market. It was used as a park from 1868 to 1960. At the same time, it was used by the villagers as a part of the market. Herning Garment Factory. This wool yarn factory was built 1876. At the same time, it is directly related to the development of the Herning settlement in its current form. Noralle Herning is a central street. This street is one of the favorite places for both locals and tourists. At the same time, a house in 19 is displayed on this street. This Patterson House. This Patterson is one of the most famous Danish writers and poets. It is the writer's home museum. The house was built in 1905. Torvet. Torvet is a central square. There is a building built in 1920 in the square. It currently operates as a Danish bank. Another interesting place is Hotel Aridis, built in 1893. There is a statue of a woman in front of this building. The statue was built on the same date. The house was built in 1919. It was used to build a feedback when the building was first built. However, it later became textile hub to meet the demands of the growing clothing sector. Many famous Danish designers began their careers in this building. Sunday Anlag is a city park operating since 1897.